Woo! Today we're going to talk about Leica looks and which ones I think are the best for each given situation. We're also going to talk about what comes in the camera anyway. So if you're considering a Leica Q camera, or you already own one but you're too lazy to take a bunch of pictures of the same thing with the different looks, then you're in the right place. This is the video for you. And you're going to want to watch this video because some of these Leica looks look terrible for certain things, like skin tones. Other ones look super cool and artsy for some situations. And I was actually very surprised when I did some of this deep dive comparison with the Leica looks because I think I was using the wrong one. All right, real quick, I'm gonna cover this. I got some questions in the last few videos about what my other channel was because I said I was a full-time YouTuber and they said you have 3 subscribers. How can you say that you're a full-time YouTuber? Well, my other channel is called The Cheap Audio Man. There's my plaque right there. But this channel, the Not So Cheap Camera Man channel, it's where I'm gonna have some fun. It's where I'm gonna talk about philosophical things. Because when I went full-time on YouTube, I didn't take a bunch of pictures of my kids and then I felt guilty. So I went on a path to try to find a dedicated photography camera. I tried Fuji, I tried Nikon, I tried OM Systems, Olympus, but I ended up with Leica. And my wife got sick and she's scared and I'm scared and we don't know what's gonna happen. It's one of those C words, but it's not the fun C word that has 1 syllable. It's got 2 syllables. So even if you don't like me, my presentation style, but please subscribe and like this video because let's face it, I would like to make money at this too if I can. Because if I just inspire one person with this video or any of my other videos to slow down, to be grateful for what they have, to understand that time is not indefinite, it's finite, and that we should spend it taking pictures, especially of your family, because it freezes that moment in time. And your kids can enjoy it. And your grandkids can enjoy it. Okay, that's a little bit depressing. Let's look at some Leica looks. Yay! I have reshot this video no less than 4 times because when I'm trying to do the edit, it's not coming through how I want it to come through. So I'm just gonna talk about each profile and tell you what I like about it and what I don't like about it. Starting with standard. Well, I don't think it takes a rocket surgeon to realize that standard is there for a reason and it looks pretty good on everything. I think the colors are true to life with just a little bit of oomph in the saturation department. It's contrasty, it's yummy. That's why it's Leica's standard. Vivid is, well, vivid. The one thing I don't love about Vivid is what it does with skin tones, and it just makes them too red, in my opinion. In a vacuum, it still looks okay and is kind of passable. If you're shooting people outside, it doesn't mess with the skin tones a ton, but if you're inside and you're close up, I mean, you can really tell that there's too much red in the skin. And if you look at her shoes between standard and vivid, you'll see a big difference. The grass has also popped up. I mean, the saturation is just a lot higher on vivid. Natural is pretty good, but the problem with natural is it's less saturated than standard and much less saturated than vivid. So when you're looking at them together, it just seems a little bit boring. So obviously and ultimately it's up to you as to what you like, but I find myself staying out of natural unless I notice something being off with the skin tones. This is one color profile, and by the way, I'm wearing different things because this is a different day. Black and white natural does absolutely nothing for me. I'm never in it because I feel like it's just not interesting. It seems desaturated again. It just seems like there's no contrast in it. It just feels like a black and white version of natural. Well, that all makes sense now that I'm saying it out loud. I don't see any situation that I'd be using this except when black and white high contrast is just like over accentuating the highlights. And sometimes that's a bit distracting, but still, I probably wouldn't get into black and white normal. I would probably go to some type of color profile, or I will go to some stylized black and white where there's the chrome or whatever it is. So what do? Do you like black and white natural? And if you do, what situations are you using it in? If I'm shooting black and white, this is where I'm living. I mean, I pretty much just said it. There is black and white natural, super flat. Now, I don't love black and white high contrast compared to some other black and white profiles and other cameras. Specifically, I thought the Nikon black and white was pretty solid, and it has a dedicated black and white switch. But black and white high contrast, way better than black and white natural on the Leica. Eternal is a trip. I love it on some things and I hate it on others. Skin tones close up, no, not at all. Because the highlights, I believe, are blown out. Anything red is cranked up to 11. The blacks are just crushed. The yellows become orange, but when it gets it right, it gets it very right. To me, this was, I would say, kind of the retro look that I liked the best. But if you're looking for a JPEG that gives you some details in the shadows and you don't want to edit it at all, this isn't going to be the one for you. Contemporary is kind of hit or miss for me. With skin tones close up, no good. The reds aren't as intense as on Eternal. Highlights and midtones are almost blown out and desaturated, but the blacks are crushed. It's kind of cool. There's certain scenes, especially beach scenes, that did look really good. The one by the dive shop I really liked. But you get this crazy crushed blacks with everything else being desaturated, and then everything else kind of being overly emphasized as far as highlights. But if you just take a look at contemporary compared to Eternal, you can see how much more information is in the shadows. I think this one looks way better with non-nature items, like buildings. The detail and textures seems to pop out a little bit more, but it does have a filmy, old school vibe. Classic. This is going to be a bit of an acquired taste. With that said, there were certainly a few situations where this look was very special. There seems to be a ton of grain added in. Skin tones look greenish, yellow. Yellows are really emphasized, I think, in Classic. Highlights completely blown out. Stuff is desaturated. Blues are definitely desaturated. Also seems like browns are muted. It definitely has a vintage, old school vibe where maybe a picture has faded a little bit. It's kind of cool. For me, Classic, loved the beach. Looked really cool for some reason. But when I took it by a lake, it didn't do the same thing. I don't know what it was. Maybe it is the largeness of the muted browns, so the sand looked better. I don't know. But if you're going to the beach, maybe consider Classic. I don't know if you got anything out of this. If you did, put it in the comments. It was a good exercise for me to go through because the biggest surprise I had was Eternal. Even though I think indoors it can be a bit intense, if you overexpose by about a half of a stop, Eternal can look really cool. When I started compensating with exposure for how much you lose in the shadows, it got to be a little bit fun, but I wouldn't take portraits with it. Keep in mind, if you shoot raw and you dump it into the Leica Photos app, you can apply any of these looks and then save it out of there. which makes it a little bit easier to do than dropping them into Lightroom and editing them. You can also control how much of that look is being applied to your photo. If you want to really push yourself, shoot it in JPEG and no RAWs. If you want to have some fun, maybe after, and you don't know exactly what look you're looking for, then shoot in RAW. But I kind of like doing it in JPEG only, so I'm committed. There's an old saying about the chicken and the pig in relation to breakfast. The chicken is involved, but the pig is committed. I just think we should be committed. If you're gonna make a mistake, make it at 100 miles an hour. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far, you really need to check out my other video about 5 reasons why I keep my Leica on my desk at all times when I'm not using it. A little bit more philosophical. Check that video out though. Please like and subscribe.